Welcome everyone to the fourth webinar already and the first one for 2025. So we're very excited to show you some new releases, talk about upcoming developments, and also developments which will be coming up a little bit later this year. For some of you who've already visited us during the ISE or talked to our sales colleagues, perhaps you already seen some of the features which I'll be showing today. But for most, it will probably be the first time to get an introduction to the products itself. They have been previously discussed during the last webinar, but we're happy to show them today. So let's dive in. So looking at the big recent releases, those are three major topics which we have been developing for quite some time. So actually started already halfway through last year already, and they were released at the beginning of this year. So very big developments on our side. The three topics are the advanced analytics, integrated desks and parkings, and the upgrade for the map viewer. I will briefly go through them in the slides, and then afterwards I will give a demonstration of all three so that you can actually see how the products look like, what it does, and also of course afterwards, if you want, we can also share documentation on how to set it up or how to get access to these features. So the first one is advanced analytics. This was the biggest project, I would say, from the last year for us as GoBright. As mentioned already in the previous webinars, we already had an analytics tool in our system, which showed a lot of analysis for occupancy measuring. But for a lot of our customers, it was not extensive enough, or the flexibility in creating your own visualizations was not there. Therefore, at one point, we created an integration with Power BI to give our customers that flexibility to creating dashboards, to making all kinds of analysis, combining it with other data sources, even if wanted. However, we also saw from that experience that a lot of our customers or didn't have the expertise for Power BI, or either had in-house expertise, but they were utilized also by all the other departments. So therefore, it was not an efficient process to get the analysis out of GoBright. So there was a gap in between, which we now actually fill with the advanced analytics. It's an additional license to our software. And as mentioned, it's an extension to the basic analytics which we currently have. So much more dashboarding, much more information which we're visualizing, and we go into much more detailed information there, which you will see in a few minutes. Also, the advanced analytics will be built upon, so to say. So that means that we will also be adding more dashboards later in the year. And the first one which we're working on is actually a behavior dashboard, which will focus more on how the different user groups are using the office instead of how much everything is being used. But for example, which teams are in the office on what days, and what the occupancy is in the teams, so that you can also start making changes to the office environments according to teams or to zones, instead of just looking at the rooms or desks as a resource. Then the next development is desks and parkings in Outlook. So we already for a long time integrated the rooms in Outlook with our solution, so that you could book meeting rooms within Outlook and synchronize it to GoBright, and also the other way around. But recently we also released that you can also synchronize desks and parkings. So Outlook actually has a separate type of resource, so to say. So they have room resources and workspace resources, and workspace resources are mainly used for desk booking, and that can be integrated within our solution. So that means that now users can book desks or parkings within the Outlook calendar directly, and also synchronize to GoBright, but also the other way around, which for the user then also means that they have the agenda point in their calendar, which gives a much more overview. And besides that, also good to know is that also means that we integrate with Microsoft Places now then. So that is also for customers who are already using it, or for customers who are looking into using Places and GoBright, means that that's now a combination, so you can utilize both without having the user to choose which one they want to utilize. As you can see on the right side already, we also updated the plugin accordingly so that parking and desks can be found there as well, but I will show you this in a minute as well. And then the last one, which has been released, is the map viewer upgrade. So the map viewer is an extension to our mapping solution. So the mapping is the solution where you can see the floor plans in the app, in the portal. But also we have the map viewer, which is then an external device inside the office environment, which visualizes the map. We had a design for this already for quite some years, but wasn't up to date to the current house style and the current design of the portal and app. And therefore we upgraded the map viewer design, but also added some extra features as we also experienced that, of course, the map viewer is a device inside the office environment which gives people access to the resources and a quick overview of what's happening in the office environment. So which desks are free or rooms are free, where are colleagues working. And we experienced that we could actually improve that on the current map viewer. So we added some extra features which will help our users get access to the resources even more quickly. So those are the three in a quick overview. So now let me stop sharing and share my screen. So first we will start with the advanced analytics. So now in the analytics for most customers, you have the occupancy top 10, the occupancy, the no-show, and the booking history. So that's the current analytics tool that will still be available once you are utilizing the advanced analytics, as we can understand that it takes time to get used to the new analytics tool and that you sometimes want to switch back to the one you're already used to. So don't worry, that's something which will still be there once you have access to the advanced analytics. And in the advanced analytics, we're actually splitting up the portal into 4 dashboards. So we are actually focusing on room, desks, and parkings as a separate resource. And we have the workspace overview, which is more a generic analysis to the office environment or to the various office environments. So as you can see, it's already quite different than the basic analytics which we're offering, as we now also have some graph charts, but also tables, which gives actually more detailed information regarding different locations or resources. So also information regarding actual bookings compared to the occupancy percentage. So that also gives information on how much bookings actually are done in a certain area, as that also gives other information than just occupancy percentage, because if a resource is booked to 100% of the time, that could be in 8 hours, 8 different bookings, but it could also be just one booking for 8 hours. So in that sense, the amount of bookings then gives different information on, is it actually a resource which is used a lot for short meetings, or is it mainly used for bigger meetings? And then also the absolute number of no-shows, which could also give a lot of information if people actually do not like the meeting room or that meeting room is not being shown up a lot. And then, for example, we also added the day of the week occupancy. This was quite a much requested analysis in our current analytics. So the time of day was already in, but actually getting an average on each day of the week, how busy it was not there. So that's something which we've added as well. So this is more the generic analysis. Then, of course, as mentioned, we have the different resources, and there we also go into much more detail. So actually also getting some generic numbers. So the amount of spaces, the amount of bookings made in the time frame for this location, the average booking duration as well. And of course, all these charts and graphs change upon filtering. And the great thing about this new analytics tool is that it also is a click or it's an interactive dashboard. So for example, if I here have EV charging as a subtype, I can actually click on the subtype and the whole dashboard will filter through to that selection, which will make it much more user friendly for the people who use this analytics tool for getting the data out or making their own presentations or just getting information to actually get the right information by just a few clicks in a few seconds without actually having to filter all the different drop-down menus. And if you want to go back, we just have a reload option, and then it will set back all the filters to normal. Yeah, as you can see, we offer much more detailed information. So it's not just one chart as in the occupancy dashboard. We actually now focus more on booking occupancy as a percentage, but also the amount of bookings per subtype, also sensor occupation, location analysis. So how are the different locations compared to one another if we look at the parking analysis, for example. And then one of the bigger things which we're adding is also forecasting. So that means that we now have in the system as well the opportunity to make a forecast for the next months or the next 7 days, which is then calculated based on the booking history, to actually show you what the potential occupancy could be in the future. And this is for parking desks and room as well. So those three dashboards are quite similar. So a lot of information is, of course, the same in each dashboard. Yeah, that will probably give much more information than you currently can get out of our analytics tool. We already have our first customers testing this. So we're already receiving feedback. We're already creating a list of things we can improve or charts or graphs which we can add. So as mentioned, this analytics tool will be worked upon in the coming year. So it is a system which will be enhanced over time. Then we will go to the integrated desks and parkings. So as mentioned, now desks and parkings can be booked via the Outlook calendar. So we can make a booking as we also would do for a meeting room. And we could open a plugin as we would do for a meeting room. But as you can see, we now also have desks and parkings as a selection, which means that for your users, they can just work from Outlook as they already could for rooms, but now for desks and parkings as well, to get access to all the different resources in the environment. So if I make a search query, you can see the results. Also, when I have the week planner, it of course will ask if I want to update my status. And then of course I can just make the booking, and it will be part of my agenda as well. So if I look for tomorrow, for example, I will quickly see that I do not have a desk booking yet. So if I want to, I could make one. But I could also do this, for example, from the GoBright application. So if I say, okay, I want to book a desk for tomorrow, and I know that I have to be in the quiet zone for the integrated desks, then I can book a desk for tomorrow morning. I can book it. It will change my location to Rotterdam now, as I did have it on remote before. But all these things will now synchronize to Outlook as well. So as you can see, the booking I just made in GoBright is in my Outlook calendar. So I will have all the information there as well, with the desk name and what actually the booking is. So that's that's something which will help our users have a much more user-friendly experience in Outlook. But besides that, of course, when you're using Places, or when the customer wants to utilize Places as the booking tool, they can still integrate that with GoBright via this way. And then also our hardware, for example, can still be utilized, or all the other different products can still be utilized in that sense, so that the user doesn't have to use two different systems, but that they can just work from one environment. And then the last enhancement is the map viewer. I think I'm sharing my whole screen, so you should be able to see this. So the map viewer is a new layout. It's a new design. So as you can see, a lot has changed compared to the old one. Some new features which has been added is that also the logo is now changeable, so customers can upload their own logo if they want to. We also added in the location picker the home button, which means that you can select for each map viewer on what floor it's located. So if you have 5 floors, then for example, this one is now located on the ground floor. But as a user, I'm not sure if I'm looking at the right map. Then I can click on the home button and it will automatically direct me to the right floor plan, which is actually connected to the floor I'm actually standing on, so that the user never gets the wrong results or gets confused about if they're actually booking on the right floor plan. So that will definitely help our users get access to the right resources. As mentioned, we added more features. So also the accessibility icons are added now to the floor plan on the map viewer. That was in the previous map viewer not there. So that's also something which I'll be touching upon in a few minutes, as we're working extensively on the WCAG, so getting accessibility accreditation for our platform. Besides that, we also added the locker search to the map viewer, and also finding resources. So previously you could only find a colleague on a map viewer, but now you can also actually find a resource as well. So I can also search for a room or a desk, which will then come up and will actually show me where the desk is located. So if you're looking for the right meeting room where you need to go, like in a Wayfinder way, then that can also be utilized through here. Then let's get back into the presentation. Then some upcoming releases. So we had quite some chats with customers last year regarding the catering experience. A lot of feedback had to do with the service overview. Therefore, we are actually changing the visualization there, as the current visualization doesn't give enough, so to say. So it's the columns are a little bit small. Therefore, a lot of information drops off, and you have to click open every item, which is not user friendly, of course. So therefore, we changed the layout, which means that all information should be visible. Also, we added a picture for actually more clarity to the service handling, to actually provide a much more efficient experience when looking at the overview. There was also a problem that when someone would make a catering request later for the meeting, so if the meeting would start at 12 and someone would book the catering that should be delivered at 3, the items were not always grouped together correctly, which was confusing for the service handler. Therefore, we now group everything, all the items together, which makes it much more easy to see, okay, for this meeting, I have these products which need to be delivered, instead of having to search through the list which ones are connected to the same meeting. So therefore, we believe this will give a much more user-friendly experience for the service handlers, and give them a clear overview what needs to be delivered at what time and where. This is actually in the works now, so we expect that will be finished in April and released there as well. Then something which is an ongoing project is the WCAG. So that's more of an international standard for accessibility. So making sure that the platform, our app, our website is compliant to the regulations for people who have a disability. So that means that we, for example, have added focus states, but also being able to tab through the portal so that you can access the booking process without having to use the mouse. We also prepared the portal and the app for screen readers, so that people who actually are, for example, fully blind can also hear what they are tabbing to, so that you can actually utilize the portal even if you are fully blind. And also color contrast we are working on, so making sure that people with colorblind or that do not see the colors in the same way as I do, for example, that they can still see what the text is compared to the color which it's standing on. So for example, if you see the search button here, that didn't meet the requirement for color contrast, because some people couldn't read the search text because it didn't have the good contrast compared to the green. So therefore, we are working on that to make sure that everyone can use the portal and the app in the same manner as everyone can, to make it as user-friendly as possible. And specifically also for a lot of our partners, we see in the governmental organization that this becomes much more of a requirement. And therefore, it's also important that we comply with these standards. So as mentioned, it's an ongoing project, so therefore we expect to finish everything this year. But yeah, because things are already implemented and things will be implemented, it's not a direct deadline where everything is finished. We just gradually release things when that's finished. And then another project which has recently started is the update of the Wayfinder. So yeah, this was something which was communicated last year as well, but due to priorities, this was pushed back a little bit. So therefore, we are now starting with the development of the new Wayfinder. And it's quite similar to the reason of the map viewer. The current Wayfinder is also old in its design, and we think we can improve it by adding also more features. So for example, a QR code for directly booking, but also showing the available desks on that floor plan, but also adding more colors to actually visualize the status of the rooms, which will just help our users get access to the resources more quickly. Then some ongoing developments, which are the larger projects which we're working on now. The first one is in relation to our digital signage platform, so View, and that's a template store. So we see with quite some customers who are starting to use View or are smaller in size, that they do not have the knowledge or the expertise in-house to really, or the time to really focus on creating nice designs for their templates and for the content which they want to share. So therefore, we are going to add a template store, which has generic designs for all kinds of templates, content sharing. This could be with holidays or with birthdays or things like that, but also more templates which just have information fields, widgets like the clock, the public transport information, those kind of things, so that customers can quickly start using our digital signage platform with nice content without having to spend too much time in designing things their own. The template store is also something which will be updated from time to time. So we will be adding more templates throughout the year, but also widgets will be updated there. So if we, for example, make an update to the template or to the widget, then also customers can update it from this store, which means they always have the latest widgets or templates. Then I think the largest project for this year is the zone booking project. And that is a solution which we're adding to the desk booking functionality and the parking functionality. And the main goal is to here give a more efficient booking process, where currently we offer, of course, a booking of exact spaces. So if you want to go to the office, you have to select desk 1 or desk 2, which you want to book. But we see with a lot of our customers that they do not want to have their users book specifically which desk they want to work at, but that they will just note, I will be in the marketing area or I will be in the sales area. And then when they actually come into the office, then they select which desk they will be working at. So that's zone booking. And that gives a much more efficient booking process, because as a user, you only have to select which area or which zone or which department you want to work at. And then when you actually come into the office, you then select which desk is available, compared to booking desk 1. And when you then come into the office, you actually have to search for specifically desk 1, which of course with 10 or 50 desks is quite easy. But if you have an office of 1,000 desks and you have booked desk 567, then that could be quite a process of finding that, even though we do provide solutions for that, but still it can be a more user unfriendly process in that sense. So therefore, with zone booking, we try to make that even more efficient, and it just gives our customers as well a second option of how to use our system, compared to the only option we provide now. So it will just give much more options, and you can also use it simultaneously. So you could have a right side of the floor, which is a zone, and on the left side, you still have the specific desks which can be booked. So that gives still the customers freedom to choose what they want to do. As mentioned, this is quite a large development also for the template store. So these will be ongoing for the next months, but we hope to at least release the template store in Q2 and zone booking hopefully as well at the end of Q2. But we'll have to see how that goes in the next months. Then some Interact upgrades actually also have been done. So this was had actually to be moved to recent releases, but we also released a design update for the Interact just to provide some more clarity on certain information points, as sometimes text would be too long or not readable enough. So therefore we changed the layout and the UI. And we also added a small gimmick for the height adjustability. So currently you had to double tap the arrows to drive the desk automatically to your preferred sitting or standing height. Now we also provide the swiping option, so you can just swipe the Interact and it will go up or down to your preferred sitting or standing height. Then a small update on some hardware partner integrations. So Crestron integration is finished, so they released firmware this month with GoBright in it as well for the 10-inch displays. So that's good. For ProDVX, we're also working on their new devices. So they have the S range coming up, which will be certifying as well. And then for the height adjustability for the desk integrations, we're now also working on the OMT integration. So also there we will give much more flexibility for customers to integrate with their Interact. And for the locker integrations, we also have an integration with blocks, which is finished now. So that's in the final testing, and then we can also be able to support that for our customers when they already are using it, for example, for integrating with GoBright or for new integrations. Then also something exciting on our side, we're really focusing on sensoring at the moment. So we're actually also looking into hiring people to focus on that project. So we're really going all in on the sensoring part. So that's also something which I will be hopefully sharing more details in the upcoming webinar. To provide more details regarding our sensor project. And then also we're also looking into a project for saving electricity, so to say, on each desk. But that's still an unknown factor, but we're at least looking into it to making it possible that when people go up to a desk, they have to check in to the Interact to actually get power to the desk, to make sure that people are actually checking into the resources and making sure that occupancy can be measured, compared to that they always can just get access to the desk itself. And of course, a benefit is that the desk doesn't use power when nobody's using it. Then also a look into later in 2025. So zone booking and Wayfinders, of course, mentioned, but also presence confirmation for rooms, something which will be starting in Q2. And later in the year, we're also looking at a room booking combination with our digital signage, which will mean that then you can actually have for room booking a full experience with digital signage as well, where you could have the digital signage on the display outside of the meeting room as well when it's not used for room booking, but also that you could visualize digital signage inside the meeting room when you have screens there, so that it gives a full experience for the user when they enter the meeting room, that they also get corporate communication or other things which you want to share. So that will give an even more stronger integration within our platform with all the different products. And we see that as a very big benefit, which can increase corporate communication for everyone utilizing the meeting rooms. That was it, what I wanted to share today. I hope the information was valuable and relevant. I see in the chat there were probably quite some questions, so I'll ask Bianca to go on stage again, and then we can go through the questions.
Yeah, thanks, Willem. Yeah, well, great developments are happening, and indeed, we received a lot of questions, which is good. It shows a high interest in in the new features that you just presented. So let's see what we can answer right now. And well, for the listeners, if your question is not answered, again, we will get back to you via email. So we won't forget about it. First is about advanced analytics. Do you need to convert the desk to a resource in Exchange to make it available in the GoBright app in Outlook and Teams? I don't know if it's really advanced analytics related, but that's when the question came in.
Yeah. No, so for advanced analytics, that of course doesn't matter if it's an integrated desk or not. So that is just the data which we have in our system. So if it's an integrated desk, the data will be in advanced analytics. If it's not an integrated desk, it will also be in advanced analytics. But to be able to book a desk via the plugin in the Outlook calendar, it needs to be integrated into a mail resource of Outlook. However, if you use the Teams or Outlook application. So we of course have the Office 365 app, which in your left bar, where also your calendar, your mail, there the GoBright logo is. There it doesn't need to be integrated to be able to book desks there, because then you're actually in the GoBright platform and not in the Outlook calendar per se. So therefore, it doesn't need to be integrated.
Okay. Also, again, for advanced analytics, how is the booked time for rooms, for example, calculated? Can room availability be embedded with times like from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m.?
Yeah, so we actually calculate the book time on the opening hours of the resource. So if you would preset the opening hours in our system from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., then also the booked time will be calculated on that. Yeah, so that's possible.
Okay, and how does that work with, for example, national holidays? Are they excluded from the reports?
Currently, we do not have that exclusion, as of course, every country has various national holidays. So that's a calculation which is therefore a little bit more complicated. So we would have to create a feature for that you would have to provide which country you are in, and that which national holidays will be discarded, so to say. But as mentioned, that's a little bit more complicated. As for example, in the Netherlands, we also have national holidays which are not always a day off. So therefore, the variable of if it's discarded or not becomes already even more complicated. Yeah, so that. But I would say if it's not in, then of course there's no data which will give a little bit of a dent into the average. But I would say on a long period, it will not be that much effect.
Okay, thank you. Then a question about integrated desks. Someone says we use desk reservation also for shared cars. So will this also be available in the plugin?
If you integrate those desks, so to say, which you utilize for shared cars to a mailbox in Outlook, then also that can be booked via the plugin. So just every desk which you've created in GoBright, which you link to a mailbox in Outlook, can be integrated. It doesn't matter if you call it desk one or shared car one. That doesn't matter.
Okay. And here is someone who's asking, does the desk booking automatically make a booking in Outlook, and is it then set as busy, or can you change the setting for that?
Currently, it's indeed in your calendar and it's set as busy. I know at least what some of us here in the office do is that you can change the status of your booking it yourself. There's no automatic status for that yet. However, it is something which we've previously discussed, so it could be that we add that later if that becomes a bigger request from a lot of our customers.
Okay. Well, let's have this as a final question. Someone is asking if there's a billing option for service handling.
We do at least have the option to add cost to a catering item. So when someone orders a specific item, prices can be connected to it. So that means that when they book coffee, that they see that costs €1, for example. However, we do not have a billing option in the sense that we send out invoices or those kind of things. So we do not do any payments. We just do the information in our system, and you could get that out via an export, and then you could import that file, for example, into a financial system to do the invoicing. But we do not do any payments in our system.
Okay. Well, thanks, Willem. Let's, like I said, let's keep this as the last question for today. The rest will be answered via email. I just wanted to get back on the next webinar, which is going to be held on June the 5th. I noticed in the subscription link that it said 8 p.m. That's not right. It's going to be at 10 a.m. in the morning again, so we will change that. But if you would like to subscribe, here is the sign up link again. And you can also subscribe, of course, to our newsletter to stay updated on the newest features that are coming your way in a couple of months. So I will put in a link for that as well. So for now, again, Willem, thank you very much for hosting the webinar, and the audience, thank you very much for attending. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you as well. Bye.